Thank you so much, and great to be here. It's really exciting to see 7 years since I started working in Eastbourne to actually have that digital celebration, and actually so many people coming. Trust me, it was not like that in the year 2015 when I started. But let me start a little bit like proper introduction. First line which I put over there is saying that I'm adopted Eastbournian. I haven't been born in Eastbourne. I've been actually living in the big cities, and somehow I turned out that I actually like living in Eastbourne. It's a big joy to take the convertible and go for the crazy drive around the beachy head, or enjoy the Kudon beach, or wherever beautiful sites you can access and enjoy here in the area. It's not common to have tech businesses being set up in a small town like Eastbourne, and as I will tell you later on, it has been a little bit of the accident, but my story comes from very much digital environment, international business, project management, and I've been living in Poland and Finland for fair share of my life, half and half. Now UK is building another half, so soon 2/3 of my life will be lived abroad. The bottom line is I'm very much into building the business internationally, and whenever you enter new market, there is a set of exciting challenges and opportunities that comes with that. Been doing mainly work around the operations, sales, marketing, everything basically to make the business happen, except the coding actually. And specializing both in SaaS and marketplaces, so quite going along type of two platforms that exist out there. And biggest teams I've been managing indirectly is 250. In the UK, I've been managing 108 people. So kind of give you the scale of my background. And today I'm doing quite a fair amount of the scale-ups and startups advisory on the project basis, or kind of on demand basis. So today we will be talking about one of my adventure, the one that brought me here to Eastbourne. So Booksy. So how many of you know Booksy? Could you raise your hands? Okay, cool. And out of those, how many are current or former Booksy employees? Ooh, none of you wanted to hear how I see the things. Maybe you've seen it all. So it's good to see that some of you heard about Booksy. How many of you knew actually that Booksy home is Eastbourne? You knew? You knew? Okay. Did you know it from the beginning? Or was it a shock when you found out that we are based in Eastbourne? It was a shock, yeah? Wasn't it? Yeah. Trust me, it was a shock for us. But a little bit about Booksy for those who doesn't know what Booksy is. Booksy is classified as a SaaS-enabled marketplace. It means that on one hand, Booksy has a SaaS platform, so service solution as a service, and we are selling a tool for the health and beauty sector providers, so barbers, hairstylists, who can use our platform to take the appointments. So it's appointment handling platform to start with, but it does a lot of other things that help businesses to manage their day-on-day operation, marketing, payments, securing their bottom line, so cancellation fees and things like that. So from very small startup when I started, which was doing only appointments, today Booksy is almost full-scale solution to handle your small, medium-sized business in health and beauty sector. Company has been established in the year 2014. I've been joining in the year 2015 at the end of the year, and actually company, though being Polish and built in Poland, it has been actually first launched on the US market. So that was the first beginning of the international journey, and once the business concept was proven, MVP was working, clearly there was a big value for having Booksy up as a business. The investor gave us the money, and they tell us, open 10 countries, see which one to stick, the one that doesn't stick, kill, and that way you will be present internationally. So at that time, the year 2015-16, we opened actually 8 countries. Some of them have survived, and one of the countries that have survived was actually UK. We had a great adoption to the platform. We were building already a competent team, and our clients loved it and recommended us further. So we had a kind of natural way of growing without buying everything what we need to, or acquire new customers. So this number of the countries has been varying. We've been opening and closing the countries, but bottom line also we've been growing through the acquisition. We bought several competitors at Booksy, and this has been one of the models of our growth. In UK we haven't bought anything, but in some other countries we, for instance, bought out all of our competitors, which meant that we dominated market very quickly. And just out of interest, for instance, in UK Booksy has 28 competitors, in States have 9 competitors. Just give you the scale how it can go differently on the different markets. So today Booksy is present on the 9 markets. Some of them are already mature and successful. Some of them are on the intensive investment, and some of them are actually parked or kind of on the freeze stage, because it's better to move the investment from that country to some other country. So it's today around 1,000 people, employees business. At my highest time, Booksy was 108 people. Just give you the background. It's privately owned and strongly backed up by VC funds. I think official number is 130 million being invested. So it's not a Mickey Mouse business. It's the company that have a fair share or potential to become the unicorn on the markets. Cool. Now, did I broke it? Oh, let me then. Sorry, the slides, I think they got stuck. So while we are fixing the slides, I can tell you what is the story of us starting in Eastbourne. So like many of you were pretty much shocked that companies scale, size, and type like that landed in Eastbourne. And it has been pretty much by an accident, because when we were opening a set of the new countries, we were looking also for the right country manager. And the first country manager for Booksy UK was actually Eastbournian. So that's a purely accident. And for the first 4 months when the operation were set up, my role was also to help each of the, yeah, cool, thank you, to help them out. But before I will move to this one, I jumped over, it doesn't. It should be the next one. This one? Yeah, this one. Okay. It doesn't like the Google Slides. Okay, or it doesn't like me. Okay, so another thing which I wanted also to show you, explaining how big is the business. Actually, there are some interesting cooperation that Booksy has been doing with the global players like Google or Meta Group, so Facebook and Instagram. Because we've been working across so many markets, particularly big on the US market, we've been opening the features like the reserve with Google, which you can see that whenever you are searching barbers near me or nail specialist near me and so on, some of them have the option schedule. And that the same way as you are buying airline tickets or hotel, it is directly booked from the search engine result pages. And Booksy has been the launching partner for Google actually to have it, which shows in a way a certain level of the technical competence and how the company can innovate, but also the scale of its professionalism and the fact that players like Google or Facebook launch the critical additions with us is something that the company has always been taking the pride of. Another good example was the Facebook and Instagram Book Now button created by us for our customers. Later on, of course, Facebook and Instagram allowed it for our customers, but we were the ones who could say it. We launched it as a first, and we were the ones innovating around that. The UK team has been very particularly strong on pushing the Instagram and Facebook cooperation. So And we were talking where kind of Booksy is as a player. You know, you have Airbnb, you have Uber, you have Just Eat, you have Booking.com, all of those household names, all top of the mind brands. And Booksy has the potential to become one of those. You might think, okay, I need a haircut. Bam, I will open Booksy app. Yeah? And that comes from one hand, you are having every provider in the area using your platform for taking the appointments, but to discover the bookings, you are using our marketplace side of it. And that's this SaaS-enabled marketplace platform that we are talking here. So that's kind of a pretty big endeavor to, so to say, land in Eastbourne. But as I was saying, when we started in January 2016, Adrian Ward, who is still actually at Booksy, was the one who has been Eastbournian. His story was pretty much like that. He knew the founder, they knew each other, that he was a good sales guy, and then his task was to establish the work. He hated the role of being country manager. As me supervising and supporting country managers, we had amazingly good relation, we've been supporting each other, but at some point we were discussing, saying, this job is killing me, I'm not the kind of operational guy, but I'm great on building relations and so on. So he brought the company to Eastbourne. He didn't continue in that role. I, over the time, overtake that role. But initially, we started with a team of the 4 people. And challenge at the beginning was to finding actually the right people. You know, you are a fairly new company. You do not pay the fortune because, you know, I need to compete with other countries for the money. Otherwise, they will cut us off and invest money somewhere else. So we had to start it with actually fairly new young people, whomever we could find from family and friends. So very much a startup approach. And I think something that you might want to go after if you want to set up your startup. The bottom line, you are starting with very young people whom you need to teach industry, you need to learn with them industry, you need to teach them how to sell, how to service the product. It's a lot of work on this early stages. And the easier you find the right people, the easier your life will get. But if you want to scale, that becomes the challenge. And as we've been scaling, you know, in Eastbourne, we have the customer success team on the phone helping to set up the platform, helping to test it. We have the insights telesales team who have been outreaching to the customers or talking with them whenever they downloaded the app. And then, of course, we have operations, marketing, admin, all of those functions had to grow as we were growing from this 40 people to initially 15, 30, and so on. So while the scale was going, there was additions besides the core of the business, our Eastbourne business, which was sell. Yeah? And across UK, we started also open the field sales operation. So we had at some point proportions, half of the business was based in Eastbourne, half of them were in London, Manchester, Leeds, and so on. And field sales manager, trainer, these all roles became available for people who were living here in Eastbourne. So as you can see, building the scale of the business like that, it's very much about people's business at the end of the day. Because you might have the technology, but you might need the people with whom you can work out those technology. So further, as the business was growing, we were adding more product experts, more technology-driven know-how was needed in the company as bigger we were going. So here is actually the picture from the times when there was like 4 of us. The funny things, we were sitting in an enterprise center by this wall. I was sitting in the middle, and we were listening each other's call. Very intensive days of really being hands-on and making sure the business happened. And people whom we got on board, they will stay. And back then, the ratio was something like, out of 3 people, we got on board 1 stayed, and that was a big celebration. Not everyone was cut out for this kind of business. Not everyone was bright enough. Not everyone was skilled enough or loving it enough, you know. They usually say success rate is 50% if the people stay 12 months later. We were definitely under that success rate on the early stages, because also that industry was still fairly new and fairly new for Eastbourne. There were people coming who were thinking, you know, it will be the same work as at hotel. Or came the students who have no idea what the startup is. All they've seen is a few movies that were talking how glamorous life in startup is, and they were suddenly shocked that you need to work your ass off here. Yeah? And yeah, not everyone had the Mac. They were scarce and expensive. They still are. So, but today the team is, I believe, 30-some people. I'm not working at Booksy anymore, but at my times it was over 100 people, or together 60 in Eastbourne. Yeah? Today it's like 50, 60 some after the scaling. So what I wanted to show you graphs, what is important when you build the business, and that shows the employee growth, exponential growth from 2021, that's the recent times during the scaling. You can see how dynamically you need to add the new people to the team. So the risk of the wrong additions is high. You need to teach the trainers and all of those things in order business to grow. So people are your biggest resource and biggest risk for failure as well. Or not getting them, or losing them, or recruiting the wrong ones. Here is another Booksy growth in number. Sorry. So another thing on the people side, the increase, we work out the mathematics. If we added 50 new people 50 new businesses per month, we needed one extra on boarder. Once we have achieved 500 businesses to our pool, we needed another customer success agent. So the scaling was very mathematical. Once you are on this number, this is the number of the people you need. And this is what investor likes. This also shows the business is scalable, but to reach to that level, you have to be able to deliver previous numbers and show that you can maintain that track record. I cannot show you the another slides, but trust me, the other numbers which I would show you would have similar exponential growth curve. And this is what is appreciated in the startup environment, because it shows you can scale, and scaling also means that another resource added means actually bigger and bigger return on investment from it. And on this one we talked. So here are the numbers I was talking about, very much exponential growth. Some of those dips are actually related to the COVID-19 pandemics. Interestingly, you see we have a massive recovery after each lockdown, because people started using actually booking system. When we started on the market in the early 2016 or end of 2016, as shown on this graph, look at this number of the added customers and how nicely they were jumping after the COVID. So business proved to be useful and resilient, and the new technology was making a massive difference for those businesses after COVID. And also before COVID, we had the businesses that didn't want to have appointments, particularly so-called happy walking barbers. Today, still there are some happy walking barbers, but most of those who have transferred from walking to the appointments, so appointment by the app, they know that it's so much better for them and for the customer and for whole business. They just didn't dare or had this assumption, this is winning business, why should we change it with the technology? So once you are on that curve, like I said, to deliver those numbers, you need to have a right technology, and technology gives you the addition of the scale, but bottom line, everything is down to the people who needs to make it happen, because technology is not able to do it all. Or it takes too much time to build the technology, so it's easier to get the people and focus building other side of technology. Here you can see how we've been adding another product. So after adding SaaS, we start adding marketplace. And marketplace, you can only add the more businesses you have, the easier it is to build the marketplace. So we know we are delivering new customers for our businesses, even if they are on the platform. And here is another view on how many bookings happen by the customers and by the businesses. Yeah? So quite nice growth. And what were the kind of working well for us? You can imagine reasonable pricing, HR, office, admin, those costs has been fairly inexpensive for us, but we had a good telesales, and telesales you can do from anywhere. You can do it from home, you can do it from London, you can do it from Eastbourne. That massively affects the cost. We discovered that there are some industries and companies, particularly hospitality, McDonald's, and insurance, Hastings Directs, we love you, that can transfer to the technology sector. Yeah, for the different reasons. Good customer care coming from the hospitality industry. For instance, from Hastings Direct, when we got the people, they were already trained what is the corporate-driven number business is. And we knew that if we got the youngster from that company or similar company that was driven by the numbers, they will not have a system meltdown because we are asking them what are your KPIs. Yeah? And this kind of a previous experience from the relevant businesses, I believe, creates this kind of ecosystem effect that makes the business easier. There haven't been massive volume of those because we were a young business. It took us time to get it, but there was definitely a potential, and we didn't have to educate everyone like it was in the first days. And then, of course, beautiful ambient places, all of those things working. But many of those individuals, they were very appreciative, actually, that they can have a work here in Eastbourne rather than commute like a sweat rat to London, 1.5 hours, 2 hours a day, 4 hours altogether. That's a hell, that's not life. So that has been something that kept many of them going, even if the things got rough. They knew that actually Booksy is a good deal considering that it is Eastbourne. We got a great support from the local communities. You know, we have the kind of a family feeling with Enterprise Center. When the things were going tough for us, they didn't go with us, you know, point number 7 of the contract says this one and this one. No, they were working with us. They wanted to keep us business. Once we were in London, the story was totally different. Okay, you want to scale down, your contract has been forced for 24 months. This is the bill, you're gonna pay the difference. End of discussion. And that's a massive cost for the startup at the different stages. So there is a huge value of having that local flexibility. We were using the nearby lovely Devonshire Park Hotel on very nice corporate deal, always being greatly taken care of, our guests being taken care of. So this all kind of family effects, I would not like to underestimate it. And last, we have got also support from institution located. SaaS has been great help with some of the studies that we've been doing. So there is a lot of advantages to being in the small town, if you think about it. The biggest challenge is, like I've mentioned already, our people. It's a limited number of the people. It's not only that the radius is cut in half by the sea, but many of the young, motivated people already out to London, or they are working for better money in Brighton. Yeah? So more senior people, they are not eager to, for the sake of living in Eastbourne, cut their salaries to be competitive for the young startups. So they can commute to London and so on, but they will come, I think, later on, once your startup is successful, you are able to pay them near matching London salaries, yeah? And need for the training and coaching, it has been continuous. People are coming from the different industries. I have to give you an example of the insurance industry. When those juniors came, they knew what we are talking about, KPIs, and it's not about vaping all the time in front of the office. Maybe a basics, but sometimes if you need to explain it, some people go ballistic. Oh my God, they force us to work, horrible people. Let me get out and let me do a bit of keyboard warrioring on the Indeed or Eastmonians or whatever Facebook pages. They let themselves go. And then other bite it, actually. That's even more scary, but that's how it is. Need for training, coaching, working the people because they do not have the background. They come from hospitality where there is really no KPI working and the discussions are very simple. You do not show up to types, you are out. If someone misbehaves on the technology industry, you cannot just kick out someone because that person already has several thousand euros or pounds invested in them, in their knowledge. And you know, you have the first chances, second chances, because you protect your investment and give the others the chances. That's how the spirit goes. Change is expensive as well. So this people makes it expensive recruitment and challenging one. In general, my feeling, and that's something what we'll be discussing on the panel, is also career advisory. You know, we have a lot of universities in this area, but none of them, they massively advise, at least at the time when I was starting, how you can build your career in tech. What does it mean to work in the startup? It doesn't mean only beanbags on the floor and then coffee for free for everyone. Yeah? It means that you need to work and study yourself, and no one will, so to say, thank you for that, nor, no, people will appreciate that you study and your knowledge is growing, but that comes with the deal. You work for the startup, you need to study yourself because that increases your competencies. You are better, your salary will be growing, you will be highly and more appreciated. But this kind of advice not necessarily goes in hand when majority of the business here is, you know, hospitality or the retail. And some other small things which have been challenging, like office space. Once we wanted to scale, actually, we couldn't find big enough open space in whole Eastbourne. Finally, we found one. We went to that guys, and then they saw they wanted to see our business plans and so on. And it comes out that actually from their understanding, we are not that attractive business because we are investing so much, we are not greatly profitable. So they told us no. Luckily, we always have the enterprise center, and they work out with us some sort of solution that we could fit reasonably within one space. The bottom line is that space, right infrastructure, technical infrastructure, office infrastructure have been a bit of the headache. I'm not mentioning not having the proper working internet during the COVID when we couldn't have the telcos because half of the people didn't have the internet. Luckily, the lightning fiber and others show up doing that work. So another important thing, and that's I'm so happy to see that happening here in Eastbourne, industry networking. You know, when I started here, there was no one really I could easily find. There were no meetings. I didn't know guys from Chalk. I didn't know anyone. So as the new one started, you thought, okay, I will just make it by myself, because before I will start anyone who can be of use, it will be taking too much time. And this industry networking also means that there is one person who is interested in career in the tech industry. How I can go there. You can discuss. They can come back to you in half a year time, and actually they might be ready to start working with you, and when you have the opening. It's massive effect of this industry. They don't know how sharing like we are doing today. And yeah, I'm not gonna talk much about we contribute. Bottom line is higher taxes from higher salaries, competent people who on average would make 22K in hospitality. On average, they are making around 30K. I'm talking in the, before the, last year money, before the upgrade for the pricing crisis. Yeah. So this building the team is a massive aspect that pays back to the whole town. We've been doing also great stuff like the ice rink, career events, and of course we are also contributing here for the DigiFest. So I'm running out of the time. So there won't be any time for questions from my understanding, but what I would encourage you, on the back of your name tag, there is this QR code. You can go and download the app called Gridally. It's our official event app, and it's easy to network between each other. If you would like to speak with me, chat with me, or agree some quick meeting to discuss this or that, please download the app. That's maybe another business that we might bring to Eastbourne. So it would be great to hear your feedback, also what you are thinking about that app and that system. Yeah? Cool, I'm done. 1 minute or? Okay, I'm good. Thank you very much.